But here's one other thing to see. In that same speech that I just played a clip from, that same rally where he goes back to the hydroxychloroquine nonsense, that was about 8 weeks ago. This is from that same speech.
Worse than Afghanistan. How about that? Worse than Afghanistan, where, by the way, I started the process. All the troops are coming back home. They couldn't stop the process. 21 years is enough, don't we think? 21 years. They couldn't stop the process. They wanted to, but it was very tough to stop the process when by a government that wouldn't last. The only way they last is if we're there. What are we going to say? We'll stay for another 21 years, then we'll stay for another 50. The whole thing is ridiculous. So we're bringing our troops back home from Iraq. We're bringing the troops back home from Afghanistan.
I started the process, all the troops coming back home. They couldn't stop the process once I started it. It was very tough to stop the process. And then he says the government there won't last. The only way they last is if we're there. It's ridiculous. So I started the process. They couldn't stop it to bring all the troops home. The audience applauds. That was 8 weeks ago. And you know, whether or not you think it is a good idea or a bad idea to have brought home U.S. troops from the war in Afghanistan, here's the former president bragging about how he's the one who set that in motion. And he set it in motion in a way that could not be stopped. Even though he said the Afghan government would definitely fall as soon as our troops left. He's bragging about that, right? He's getting applause for that from his supporters. And now it's actually less than 8 weeks since he said that. U.S. troops, in fact, did leave, and the Afghan government did, in fact, immediately fall. And now he's leading his supporters in, unbridled chest-pounding outrage that President Biden must resign, that it's so terrible that U.S. troops left and that the Afghan government fell. Again, whether or not you are for or against U.S. troops leaving Afghanistan, you can't be for it. You can't take credit for doing it and for doing it in such a way that your successor could not reverse. You can't say you were for it, take credit for doing it, say that you made it so that nobody else had any choice, and then also be against it when it happens. Can you?